Hello, 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 hello. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday, March the 9th. Thank you for joining me. For those that don't know me, I am Dr. Lisa, and welcome to my space. And today I have an interesting topic. I found this article. I saw it on LinkedIn. And my first thought was, I know I got the wrong background. Hold on, let me put my background on because y'all know how I be. Let me put my background on. Let me get it. Because I am definitely like, when I saw this article, that was me. I don't know what this is, but as you saw from the title, the topic today is AI proof careers. Is that really a thing? And if so, what does that mean, right? So I found this article in Fortune magazine, but I'm sharing the one that was in Yahoo because if you don't pay for Fortune, you can't see it. So as you can see, this one the screenshot is Yahoo Finance, but originally it was presented in Fortune magazine, and as you can see, it's entitled "Gen Z Graduates Who Majored in AI-Proof Careers like Pharmacy, Biology, and Education." Are making less than 50 grand after graduation. So, first and foremost, I was disgusted by this because, mind you, we consider these types of roles as essential jobs, essential careers. That's first and foremost. Meaning, if they're essential, means we cannot live without, right? And this highlights, first off the bat, how people are underpaid. But I'm going to go ahead and read the article because, mind you, it does not focus on that. But me and my brain, I'm all about the human and the importance of the human. That was my first thought when I saw this article, because it was just like, what? Why are they only making less than 50 grand? When we think about teachers and those in essential type roles, mind you, they are building up the workforce. They're keeping us healthy, keeping society healthy, ensuring people are educated. This highlights first and foremost how we are not doing right by people. But let me go ahead and go into the article. Okay, so it's written by Emma Burleigh, I'm assuming, or Burleigh, Burleigh, Burleigh. Okay, and it was last updated March 6th of this year. So obviously no further updates, but I'm going to go ahead. Let me get into it. It says Gen Z graduates are tossing their tassels with six-figure salaries in their eyes, but some won't be making 50 grand, even if they chased college degrees hailed as AI proof. Now, I personally don't feel that that's necessarily true, but let me shut up. Let me get through the article. While some college majors, like liberal arts and performing arts, are resulting in rock bottom salaries, other stable career pathways are handing out the same dismal pay. Post-grad pharmacy majors aged 22 to 27 earning just 40 grand, the lowest median income of all college concentrations, according to the new Federal Reserve Bank of New York report analyzing that's 2024 US Census data. So this is kind of based off of old data first and foremost. This is off of 2024. We are now in 2026. So I'll say a year old of data. That's first and foremost. Mind you, our livelihoods and the cost of living has gone up dramatically within the past year. So if we're thinking 40 grand and that was a year ago, and the idea of how that would help us to live a sustainable life, imagine now. So put that in your mind right now. And then I'll keep going. And the AI proof healthcare degree might not be worth the price tag. Pharmacies early career payout is thousands of dollars lower than the U.S. median income of $45,140, according to census data. Other Gen Z college graduates are feeling the pinch, earning less than the average American. Theology and religious majors make about $41,600. Social services took home $43,000. Performing arts earned around $44,000, and liberal arts received just $45,000 in the years after graduating. And there are more careers touting to withstand AI and recessionary impacts that also made the list. Teaching has risen in popularity for its job security, especially as AI swipes office roles and companies enforce sweeping cuts. Yet, general education usually earning around 45,000, and elementary education earning around 45,000 are among the worst paid majors after graduation. That right there in itself says a lot about our society. And Gen Zers who invested 4 years into a biology degree, a STEM pathway positioned to be safe in the tech revolution, only make about 45,000 a year. Furthermore, professions like education and healthcare have been dubbed AI proof. Despite potential low pay, healthcare has been heralded as fast growing career pathways safe from both AI disruption and recessionary impacts, leading to an influx of interest and job openings within the profession, while other sectors lay off staffers in droves. Healthcare is actually one of the key industries expected to grow amid the US's AI driven business landscape disruption, according to a 2024 McKinsey report. Home health, doctor, and nursing job postings have hit a combined 162% growth since pre pandemic, according to the 2025 report from Indeed. Priya Rathold, career expert at Indeed, told Fortune last year that healthcare is a classic recession resistant industry because medical care is always in demand. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But as we've been reading, sadly, these jobs are in demand, but the investment into fair compensation and sustainable compensation for a sustainable life is not matching up with that. But I'll keep reading. Even Ellie Lilly, CEO of David Ricks, said that AI is nowhere near curing cancer, despite optimism from other business leaders that the advanced tech will eradicate all disease. There's no timeline to remove human workers from the loop in these essential STEM professions. And I agree with that. If you just ask them to solve biology or chemistry questions, they're not particularly good at it. Ricks explained at the Plain English podcast this year. They're trained on the human language, not on the language of chemistry, physics, and biology. Additionally, teaching is growing in popularity among young graduates in the hunt for better job security. The education sector is fastest growing industry in the UK, according to the 2024 LinkedIn analysis. Some roles, like teachers, lecturers, and learning support assistants, have particularly taken off as being some of the most sought after roles, LinkedIn's career expert Charlotte Davies told Fortune last year. Over the past 3 years, Teach for America, an education nonprofit, also experienced a 43% surge in incoming corps members, full-time teachers, and the influx was driven by young workers who see teaching as a career path that is better shielded from what employment challenges lie ahead. Organization's Chief Growth and Program Officer, Whitney Petersmeyer, I think I said that right, Petersmeyer, told The Guardian that responding to the opportunity for purpose and responsibility at a time where many entry-level jobs feel uncertain and disconnected from the impact. So, the top 10 worst paying college majors for recent College Z grads are pharmacy being number one, averaging around 40 grand a year, theology and religion 41,600, social services 43,000, performing arts 44,000, general education 45,000, early childhood education 45,000, elementary education 45,000, liberal arts 45,000, biology 45,000, and leisure and hospitality 45,000. So that says a lot about all of this that's going on within the workplace. First and foremost, when I hear AI proof, I don't believe really that any of these jobs are AI proof. Not saying that they can be replaced by humans. I already agree with that. The human is essential to, society, work, everything. So when I say I don't believe in an AI-proof job, there's always going to be some form of technology that we're going to be utilizing to perform a job or to perform a task. And especially when I've read off the top worst paying college majors for recent college graduates, all of these careers are using some form of AI. Maybe not 100% within it, but they're using some form of technology to assist them with doing the type of work that they're doing. Only one probably, I would say not, would be theology and religion, of course, because that's, preaching and, working in the religious field. So, of course, but even then, I'm sure the pastor or someone is using some form of technology. So that's what I mean when I say, yeah, 50K a year used to be good money. And mind you, this is also based on the census from 2024. So we have to think that a year ago, because remember, we just got into 2026. So we'll pretend like we're still in 2025. So even a year ago, the cost of living has gone up so much since 2024. So just that idea alone, that jump from 2024 to now 2025, 2026, right? That cost of living alone is a major difference. And and that in itself, what really drove me to wanting to come and do this talk, what really drove me is, when we look at leaders and society as a whole, right, we're always calling these roles essential, right? Even, I mean, every single one that I've spoken of: pharmacy, theology, religion, social services, general education, early childhood education, biology, all of these are essential roles. These are roles during the pandemic we could not go without. So that said, and mind you, these roles, the pay has not gone up even pre-pandemic to where we are now. And then knowing that it's under 50K highlights how these corporations are literally pretty much exploiting workers, because these are essential roles, right? And then now they're viewed as safe roles because they're AI proof, but they're not necessarily AI proof, because you can still utilize some form of AI, especially when we look at education. A lot of schools, they work alongside with Google. Google uses AI, and Google is even working with school systems, different districts and stuff, to teach them how to utilize Gemini. So when I hear AI proof, I don't necessarily believe that, but we'll go along with it for the sake of the article, meaning as I guess, because when we say AI, I think people are thinking about humanoids and the idea of machines completely doing the work, like in the manufacturing field. So I assume that's why they're saying AI proof for this article, but that's not necessarily true, because an average worker can utilize AI just to write their sermon if they're from the theology and religious background, right? Or even in the education sector, you can utilize AI to help create assignments, grade tests, create quizzes, things like that. You can utilize AI for that. Mind you, that's Gen AI versus the humanoid style, but still. So that's why I'm like, I don't believe that any real career is actually AI proof. This is why I highlight the importance of staying focused on the human in the workplace, which is another reason why I chose this topic, because this highlights how corporations are not putting people first. They're focusing on filling these jobs because they're viewed as safe spaces. But at the same time, they're not fairly compensating to ensure a livable wage. That is something that must be understood from this article. And I feel like this article does not highlight that enough, because we're focusing on, the article really is just focusing on these safe jobs and how they really don't pay. But really, it should be focusing on how these safe jobs are viewed as safe jobs and why they are viewed as safe jobs. They're viewed as safe jobs because the human is still necessary for these jobs to be done effectively, as mentioned in the article. But that also highlights why the human is important and why the human is not being appreciated and valued and compensated fairly. And I think that that's something that is missing from this article, and is something that should have been highlighted in this article to justify the need for the human, because when you see these roles, it's showing how AI cannot do these roles. This is something that must be understood. And it's also showing how AI is not necessarily going to give you the greatest return on investment when it comes to specific tasks. And these are things that need to be spoken about more. And it also needs to be highlighted more, because it's showing how humans are essential. Not only are these jobs essential, but humans are essential. And if the human is essential, the human must be valued. The human must be recognized as essential as compared to AI. Instead of saying AI proof jobs, it should be human factor. The human is necessary for these jobs. That also highlights the importance of humans in other areas of work. So even though this article is saying that these jobs are AI proof, it's not necessarily highlighting the importance of why they are AI proof, why AI is not equal to humans, why AI should not be upheld when it can't fulfill these types of thinkings, this type of operations, and why us as the human needs to be valued and paid fairly. That is something that is missing and must be understood. And this article missed that mark with that. And I think that that's also something that when we read articles like this, we also have to speak about that and highlighting how humans are essential, because that this article obviously highlights that. Tomorrow I have another talk that I will be speaking about, which focuses on the lack of return on investment when it comes to AI in the workplace, and new information coming out about that, and how how politicians are looking to highlight that. And this kind of leads into that. This article highlights that AI is not necessarily going to give you a return on investment. AI is not the last answer. AI is not the last resort, and AI cannot replace the human. And this is something that must be understood. And this is something that needs to be actually really highlighted. And this is a justification for this, for those that are in leadership positions, to show that how all these investments, the millions and even trillions, depending on what industry you're in, how AI is not making the mark, and how the human will always be necessary, especially when it comes to oversight. That is something that keeps being forgotten. I know within a lot of fields, such as manufacturing and stuff, it's a big push, and it's already there. It's not even a push, it's there. When we look at even maritime shipping and supply chain work and all of that, AI and automation has really changed the landscape when it comes to work. But this right here highlights, this article here highlights how there's still gaps there, and that those gaps must be recognized. And those gaps include ensuring that actual human workers are valued and not trying to compare them to AI. Stop comparing the human to AI and recognize that the human is essential, because the human is the key to fulfilling essential work, not AI. The human is fulfilling essential work, not AI. AI may be used for small tasks, but not for this hands-on type of work. Like it even says in the article, it even says that it cannot do these types of tasks because it learns on human language, on us. So that means that AI is relying on us, showing how we are essential. So that means AI-proof jobs is, it shows that it's not AI proof, but that these are human jobs, right? So even if the AI is there, the human is in the back making sure things are going the way it needs to go. So I think that that's one thing that this article shows and highlights. And I hope that this highlights how we can go about in our workspaces and in society, and how we go about in the place of work, how we can go about in recognizing that we cannot always hold AI up to this higher standard as if it is better than the human, when it's not, because it is trained on us, meaning that we are essential and not the machine. And that's something that must be understood. And that's something for us as leaders to lead the way on, to help be the change. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a good topic as well. If you got some suggestions as well, don't forget to put them in the comments. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to keep up with more topics. I look forward to these talks. And until then, be the change. Love yourself and others. Bye.